Hey y'all, it's Ashley from I Have Plans for You, and I just wanted to show my face for a second and tell you all Happy New Year. Welcome back to my channel and welcome for the first time if you're new here. Today we're going to be setting up my January spread in my bullet journal. So stay tuned if you want to see what I create. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and open up this square Archer and Olive bullet journal, and I'm showing you a few of the pages that I've created since I shared my Bujo setup. And so I also have this color palettes page that I added, and you can see the color palette kind of for the January Bujo setup. So I actually created the cover page already, and I wanted to go for cool tone, self-care, just like a relaxing scene. And the reason I did this was because I wanted to get the vibes of what I wanted to put in my Bujo without the pressure of recording and perfection. So I went ahead and did the cover page in the first week so I could kind of get the ideas out of my head before I started just like rambling around in a video. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started with the first spread that I'm going to show you all today. So this will be the second week in the spread, and this is actually sped up a little bit, but I'm showing you which marker colors I'm using, and I'll make sure that I have them linked all below. But I'm going through and I am creating these rose shapes. Now you all saw these same rose shapes in my Bujo setup for 2025 in a pink color, but I'm doing them in blue this time. Remember, this color palette I was going for a cool blue toned, relaxing kind of setting here, and this theme goes with my Floral Resilience collection that is available in the shop. So it'll be available actually this Tuesday, and there are actually some self-care doodles that go along with this, but it all started here. So I actually created this spread last month, and I kind of just needed a break from feeling like I needed to be perfect and creating something here for YouTube that needed to be right on point. So I decided not to share this until the first week of January, but I thought that was still fitting and still right on time for the new year. So you see me doing these floral shapes, and I do these so if you can kind of see in the background, there are kind of pencil lines in there, and that's where I know I want my boxes to be for this spread. So I pencil in kind of the boxes, but then I do all of my floral forms kind of freehand, and that's because it helps me as a kind of like OCD perfectionist to focus on flowing and filling in the space that I have without kind of like overthinking. But if you need to put guides in for your florals, then by all means do that as well. And I might do a video if you all want me to do that, to show you how to put guides in for florals. Shada Campbell has really good videos on that, and I learned a lot from her. So until then, you can go visit her page, but please let me know in the comments if you want me to also share how I would do those guides, because I do them sometimes as well. But you can see that I'm going for this turquoise color. Is really just like my pop of color. I know the color is all over the roses, but that turquoise color is a little warmer of a tone, and it's just giving it like just the pop that I needed. So I'm going in and making these little shapes, and like I said, this is sped up. This portion of the video is not as sped up as the rest of it, but these spreads each took me about 30 minutes a piece on average. So just so you're not wondering, oh my goodness, she's going so fast, how is she doing that? I'm so slow. Again, remember, in all my videos, I reiterate, and I like to tell you all how fast I'm going, just so you kind of know. that if you're going slow, you're probably actually not going slow. So I don't ever want you to think that I'm going super duper fast and you're horrible because you're going so slow. This particular portion is sped up ×3, and I promise you do not want me to give you the real time. This video would be about 2.5 hours long. So I slowed it down. I mean, I sped it up here for you, just so you don't get bored, but you can still see the idea of what I'm drawing and get an idea of how you can draw this too. Now, I can always do a slower setup just so you can like get the idea. Just do some roses, and I do actually plan on doing that. In a few weeks, you'll see a video of doodles and probably some of these rose shapes that I kind of go a little bit slower so that you can learn how to do them a little more in detail. But you see now, I kind of put those flat shapes down first, and then I went back with the same colors. So when you use those Tombow markers, if you let it dry a little bit, so you know, just a few seconds or even a few minutes, then you can go back over the colors and with the same color and actually add kind of like a nice shadow that almost kind of looks like a watercolor look. I love that soft vibe. And so I'm going in now and I am using that cool gray tone. I was using that cool gray tone to add in the stamen for each of the flowers. And that cool gray tone is what I use for the stamen for each of those flower types. And I also use that for the leaves as well. And then those little kind of like dark teal berry shapes I did in, I used a white jelly roll, which is a staple here on my channel. And I just added kind of like a little dot there. And I just want to reiterate that you can make almost any shape look like a flower. As long as you're thinking of a flower, just start drawing. And that's why I love flowers. If you're a perfectionist, or if you kind of have anxiety or you're nervous about drawing, flowers are a perfect way to kind of ease all of that. So now you see I'm going through and I'm doing these wiggly kind of like, the vibe that I'm going for is kind of like a inky, like ink is kind of spilling out of a pen for these boxes. And what I'm doing is varying the pressure while also kind of slightly wiggling the pen. So it's giving it this really dainty floral kind of like, I don't know, soft vintage vibe that I love. I do this vibe almost once a month. And so I love the Fudenosuke Tombow markers for that, especially the black ones. You can get such pretty lines and line distortions. It's really nice to draw with too, especially we'll do a video where I draw just flowers with a Tombow Fudenosuke because it's gorgeous. But I'm just going through and following those shapes. I'm leaving some gaps and making some dots along the way. And then on each page, you'll see that I do tasks and notes. Now, what you may also notice around this point is that I have misdated this entire setup. Like when I say the entire setup, you will see me go through each spread. And because I messed up on the first week, I mess up every week after this. But I promise you, I do go through and fix it. There's a certain point where I kind of feel like, oh my goodness, I don't remember that date being on that day. But I actually go through and fix it. And the way I do that is with the jelly roll, that same white jelly roll. I just put that over the date. So you'll see too that I'm alternating those colors in the palette when I'm writing the days of the week. And in this case, I'm just writing the first letter of each day. And then you'll see too that I'm using kind of this header style where I am just putting a swatch of color and then writing over it with that Tombow Fudenosuke. Now here you see I forgot to add my leaves in. So I'm just adding them and I'm filling in space. I'm thinking about where I need to write as well, how much space I think I'll need on each day. And so you see I'm kind of going into the crevices and staying, kind of in a spot where I still have space to write for those days. I'm using this brush marker the same way that you would use a paintbrush to draw those leaves. And I'm just going back and adding a few shadows. Like I said, I kind of let the ink dry a little bit and then I go over it again with the same color. It just gives the softness that I like. But we're gonna go ahead and turn the page for real this time. And here's another spread idea. So if you've been kind of following my journey with this bullet journal, you'll know that this is my first square journal. And of course you get excited and you want to try all of the spread types. So I actually have 5 different spreads in this journal, and that's why I thought I would share this with you all too, because if you have a square journal, or even if you have just a regular A5 or B6 or whatever journal, then these are some spread ideas with florals that you have multiple options to kind of try and see what you like. Some of them are a little bit easier than others, and you kind of just get an idea of how you might want to incorporate florals in your journals or bullet journals or planners or whatever you're using. So I'm just going through and doing these same florals in every single spread, and I'm also doing those same box styles. I do vary where I put the florals, what those clusters look like, and then also size of the boxes and the type of header I do for each day. So that's kind of interesting to watch here too. But since you all know that, and keep in mind that these pages are dated incorrectly until I show you the end, then I just wanted to chat a little bit. So I was wondering what your bullet journal spreads are looking like. I wanted to know what kind of themes you all are using. And let me know if you like this kind of cool tone, cool colored color palette too. What color palettes are you into for the month of January? Did you match your bullet journal theme to like the season like I tried to do? Let me know all of that down in the comments. But I also wanted to mention that I'm going to give all of my patrons the cover page. There's an ending page that you all will see, and then I'm going to give you all the last spread, the last weekly spread. And my thought with that is that you can take that page and kind of just cut out the boxes, because everybody's journal may not be the same size. So I know I'm doing this in a square bullet journal and everybody doesn't have a square bullet journal. And so I'm just going to make a page of weeklies that you can cut out and kind of place those boxes wherever you wanted them to be. And I'll also share at some point in this video the weekly reset page and the wallpaper that I created for my patrons. It's actually already available over there. But I'm so excited about this theme. I love drawing flowers. I get so excited when I'm drawing them. And I don't know, maybe you're not as happy as I am when I'm drawing flowers or when you're drawing flowers, but I just want to share everything about flowers when I'm drawing them. So I decided to give that to my patrons, and I hope that you go and check my Patreon out. I try to provide a lot of value. And if there's anything that you want to see over there, if you are a patron, then I do take that advice. My patrons actually came up with the idea. Well, I gave them a poll and they chose between the two things that were floral resilience and sustainable self-care. And since they chose those two themes, then I decided to kind of go with a mixture of both of them. So this is kind of the floral resilience part that you're seeing here. And the idea behind that is Just nurturing yourself like you're a flower, taking care of yourself. These are cool tones, so even though these are made up flowers, they look like wildflowers and, just wild roses that really are resilient in cold weather. And so when you add that to the idea of sustainable self-care, I've also created a few more doodles that have this same color palette, and they also incorporate a few of the roses, and you get a kind of cohesive set of stickers here that remind you to take care of yourself, to recenter, refocus, and start off the new year fresh without too many thoughts about pressure on yourself, and just really relaxing and participating in whatever kind of self-care you need. I just want to point out that this page is sped up 4.5 times, me drawing everything for this page, and all of the rest of the pages in this setup. So I just wanted to remind you to slow down. Don't feel like you're going too slow just because I appear to be going fast. I will be doing a Bujo setup once a month because I set up for the entire month. So at one time. So I don't really have the time to do these decorations or kind of like the patience. Even though this is relaxing, I don't have the capacity to do a spread like this every single week. So to take the pressure off myself and to be able to kind of like fill in a month at a time if I need to, then I do my bullet journal spreads all at one time in the month. So I'll be doing a video once a month with my bullet journal spreads, and I'll still be doing my plan with me's where I use stickers and or drawing like this. But I wanted to do something a little bit different this month, and it's a little bit of a surprise of the themes that I'll be going with. But I wanted to provide a little more value to you other than just decorating the spread. And so we'll be doing kind of more productivity related videos with some decorative elements, well, with a lot of decorative elements, but it'll be like very highly productivity based. So you get an idea of how to actually use your planners in different scenarios. And so that's kind of the direction I wanted to go. I've always wanted to provide value. I used to be a teacher. I used to be a math teacher and a dance teacher, believe it or not. And I actually still teach local brush lettering classes and random technology related classes as well. And so I love teaching, and I felt like I wasn't getting as much value out of my channel. So I wanted to make sure that what I was providing felt valuable to me, which also makes me feel like it will feel valuable to you as well. So stay tuned because you'll get Bujo spreads, you'll get doodling spreads. Of course, there's a lot more value and a lot more downloads and stuff like that on my Patreon. On my Patreon, you'll also get kind of like updates of when what is coming out, so you'll know what to expect in advance. But over here on YouTube, I just want to make sure that these videos are providing value and giving you a sense of purpose with your planners and also just with your life in general. So stay tuned this year and give me some ideas too. I already have a ton of ideas, but if there's anything specifically that you want to see, then of course let me know that, because if you tell me what you want to see, then I know it's providing value, and I definitely am down for giving you the content that you want to see. That's my whole goal here. So this is actually the fourth spread type that you're getting in this video. And I thought this would be super cool to kind of just go down the center, the spine of the notebook and give you this floral kind of like bouquet here. We tend to do this with our stickers a lot, and I wanted to see if I could draw it out. Now, of course, it was super hard to draw on the spine, but I knew that going into it. I kind of set myself up for that understanding, and I just went with it. So if you're doing this too and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, how is she doing that over the spine? It's just as hard for me. It was just as nerve-wracking for me. Remember, this is sped up. Again, I want to keep saying that because I don't want you to feel discouraged. And just draw. And if the shape isn't looking like a flower, keep going until it looks like a flower. And so I'm just going back in with those same lines, or that same kind of like syrupy line look. And the reason that I said syrupy there is because when I went back to create these boxes for the collection on Procreate, I used the syrup brush because that's what, I mean, it just felt like inky, it just felt flowy and blotty and inky, but also kind of slick like syrup. And I knew that syrup brush would work perfect when I was creating these boxes for the collection. So editing this and seeing how dedicated I was to writing the wrong dates on each page is super hilarious in post. But in this spread, you see, I thought it'd be kind of nice to do all of the date circles in the same color. And then I really think about how I'm distributing the color on the page. And so that's kind of how I choose what color to do what in as well. All right, so now we're on to the last page, and this is our fifth and final spread type. I wanted to see how it would feel to fit all 7 days on one side of the spread. So you see I have those 8 boxes kind of outlined, and I'm putting the floral element in the center. One of those boxes will be either notes or to do. I can't remember. Okay, so it's a to-do spot, and I'm just filling in the center as much as I can. So I'm thinking about the flower elements that I've been including, and how I kind of want to just fill up that center spot as though it's just a box of flowers. I'm kind of going into some of the other shapes a little bit, but only slightly, and just trying to keep that floral shape really not symmetric, but just fill in kind of evenly in that box. So one thing I realized while doing this page is that I do actually really like this one page kind of spread here. These square journals give you so much space on one page that you can actually fit a full week. So I'm thinking that next month's spread, don't hold me to this because I haven't decided even what I'm going to draw, but I'm really highly considering that next month's spread will be basically like 2 weeks per spread. So a week per day. A week per side of the page. Not only do I get more kind of like bang for the buck when using the notebook, because I'm using more space for less space for more time, but I won't have to draw as long. So by the time I got to the end of this, my hand was a bit tired. My girls were like trying to talk to me. It was the holiday break, so other people were talking to me, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I've been in here for like 2.5 hours shooting this video. So I think it might be good to kind of try out the idea of doing 1 week per page. So I'm just filling in to-dos in that box on the corner, making sure that I'm kind of using all the colors. And I feel like it was this page where I realized that I was doing the dates incorrectly, but you see, I just filled them out anyway. And then finally I got up at some point, I think it was at the end, and checked the calendar again. But on this last page, since this month has 5 weeks in it, I had an extra page and I wanted to do like a monthly recap. So this would be kind of like a currently page, but at the end of the month, like not kind of like starting the month like most planners do. And I just lettered in the word month and then recap. And now I'm adding those floral elements, kind of just like a header at the top. And this page is pretty simple. I'll just write in my memories, my favorites, and then I have a section that I left unfilled here, but I was kind of thinking thoughts, but I wasn't sure if the word thoughts summed up the idea of what I wanted in that column, so I didn't write it here yet. But I'm thinking that I'm probably going to write thoughts in that gray header section that you'll see me do. So don't forget, guys, that if you really like this, subscribe to my channel and also click the like button. Also check out Patreon if you're like, girl, I can't draw none of this stuff. I just want to download something. This monthly recap page, the boxes like on this page will also be available for download on Patreon, and also the intro January page with that kind of like thoughts and ideas to do and to buy page will also be available for download. And I know you're probably like, why is she talking about Patreon so much? It's because as much effort and time as you see me putting into this spread, I am not monetized on YouTube, and I put a lot of effort and time and detail in what I do, and I am very proud of my channel and my Patreon, and I try to provide value for you all in both places. So please consider just checking it out, even if you don't even feel like you want to, join. I promise that I do really think about the value that I'm providing, and I try to make everything pretty and keep, good vibes every month. So check it out and be sure to support me here too, and share my channel with your friends who you think would be interested in this type of content. Now it's time for a flip through. So we got all of the spreads done, and we're gonna go through and just look at every single spread in this January setup. I'm so excited about the plans I have for you all here on YouTube this year. I hope that you all will stay with me and we can take this journey together. And I hope that you all are having a wonderful new year as well. Also, don't forget to go and check out my Bujo setup video for 2025. So that was that little spread of that theme of the pink roses that you saw at the beginning of this video. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.